Okay, I am here with this little doll and little sweetie pie. She's her arm's falling off, so that's going to require some repair. Whether or not I do that right away, I don't know. I may just tuck it inside of a dress after I get her cleaned up. But my biggest concern is cleaning her up and patching her hair back in. Whoops, come on, focus for me. She's got some loose hair, but it's really dirty, but it seems to be in good condition, and I think I can clean it up mostly by just rubbing. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to rub a little bit of probably some conditioner into her hair, diluted, and then rub it back out with a cloth. That'll get the odors out of it. I'm just going to see. I may even try using the goop right in her hair, because it has a kind of feeling like a dirty animal. I can't describe it any other way. But what I want to do is get the dirt off of her. And if you've never seen me do this before, goop is a lot like, I know you might have heard somebody mention, use some hand lotion on these dolls. And goop is a lot like hand lotion, but goop is made to clean. Let me see if I can get this container here, and I've rubbed this on my hands, and it's a lot like hand lotion. Let's see here. It is non-toxic, biodegradable. It has some paraffins in it, glycerin, surfactants. So it will make water wetter. That's what a surfactant does. But you can see that it removes grease, paint, ink, tar, industrial soil from clothing, hands. So I mean, this really does. It gets stains out of clothing really good. I've used it in the interior of my car. I use it on the top of my stove. I've used it on woodwork. I restored a sewing machine cabinet, an old one, and I literally put goop on the sewing machine cabinet, used a soft nylon brush, much like a toothbrush, and was able to remove. They had used this old sewing machine cabinet in a garage and placed oily tools on it, and it had tool marks all over it. So it just cleaned up beautifully. It is a 1879 Singer cabinet. Okay, let's see here. I have to use the magic eraser. Now, if I can get by without moistening the magic eraser, you see how much soil that pulled right off? This is not wet. So it's just, I'm not rubbing very hard, I'm just kind of dragging that along. You see there, the shine and the color are just coming right back so easily. If you find you're not getting, rub a little bit harder, not getting that to remove quite as easily as you'd like, you can moisten these and then wring them out very, very, very well. All right, I've got to put this little piece of hair, whoops, okay, you can see it, that little piece of hair out of the way. So if you've got a spot that doesn't want to come off, what you want to do is just let that penetrate the soil. Okay? I'm trying to look and then trying to make sure I stay in frame also. So I apologize for that. Sometimes I get out of frame and you're going, hey, we can't see. I know. Me, I'm trying to glance at the screen and glance at the project as often as possible. Now, I will rub this right on and around the eye. It'll clean the eyelashes, it'll clean the mechanism around the eye and make the eye work better. With this little doll, I don't know, probably pretty close to ready for the trash bin if it had fallen into the wrong hands. I picked it up for a song, $7. So I don't think I can go wrong. I mean, it's going to clean up and display nicely. I'll use, excuse me, I will use some, oh, I think it's called Craze Repair. Yeah, some of that Craze Repair to fill in these cracks, and that'll fill in nicely. So that'll look good once she's all clean. And I know some people use that and they say, you know, that it works as a cleaner and a filler. I honestly just don't like to try to fill in over the top. Wipe some of this off just so you can kind of start to see the difference that this makes immediately. You can see the kind of the line of dirt. Now, people have expressed, oh, I don't want to put this on because it's going to make them wet. It really doesn't. And it does give the doll, I'm getting a little bit more aggressive right there with that spot. I think some adhesive or something. Yeah, it feels like adhesive. It's got a tacky feeling right there. Someone stuck some tape on that doll's head at one time. Probably something that was holding that piece of hair down. Someone has expressed before to me that they were afraid that this was going to make the doll wet. And I assure you, it is not going to make the doll wet. In fact, I found it to be quite the opposite. It really brings back a pleasant aroma, the shine. And when I looked up some information quite a while back, I found that even though they didn't show what they were using, Ruby Lane states that they use hand cleaner to clean up their dolls. So this is hand cleaner. The container looked to be a similar container, so I'm going to, erring cautiously, assume that they're using something very similar, if not the same, as what I'm using here. You can see that there's quite a bit of soil coming off. Don't be too alarmed if you get a little bit of color. Just be careful. I mean, you've got to be reasonably cautious when you do this. If you start rubbing like too hard, of course you're going to get some of the color. Now you can kind of see the difference in one side of the face and the other. This brighter, shinier, cleaner side, and then this dingy, dull side. So you can kind of see what we're achieving here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to pause this for just a second, and then I'll show you what we've got. Okay, there we go. Now, let me set her up here. Much better. Now, we want to do something with that hair, so I'm going to go ahead and give the goop a try, and I'm going to rub it in the hair and rub it back out with a clean cloth. Let me pause this a moment. I just can't do this with one hand. Okay, now I'll show you what this looks like. It looks really nasty, but I've rubbed that in, and I wanted to show you how dirty the back of her. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little bit better. Bring this in so you can see just how dirty the back of her little head is. Okay, that way you'll be able to see the difference once I get done and I've rubbed a little bit of goop there. That's the area that didn't get cleaned. You can see getting towards the front, we've cleaned. Behind the ear, the back of the neck is still dirty. All right, I'm going to get a damp cloth because I'm going to wipe that goop back out of the hair with a damp cloth, and I'm going to finish cleaning the back of the neck. And let me pause this again. Okay, now as you can see, the hair is wet, but I've wiped all that out, got a little bit of soiling out, and it smells, well, I can't say it smells good. Ooh, I'd be lying if I said it smells good. Let me zoom this back out. It smells sort of like a poorly washed, wet animal. But I think when it dries, it's going to smell much better. Because, I mean, this little girl, she's quite dirty. So she may spend a little bit of time with some sunshine. I'll cover her face so she can't get faded, and cover her arms and legs, and just put the body part in the sunshine. And that'll help to pull some of the aroma out of this body portion. Just literally exposing the cloth to the sunshine. Okay, let me pause for just a moment. I'm going to put a little bit of goop on the arms and legs and clean them up really quick. Okay, before I clean this up, I want you to see just how dirty. Oh, come on, focus for me. Just how dirty and grubby these little legs are. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now you can see, I mean, there's paint missing, but we've gotten rid of the, come here, leg, the grime that was just so bad on this little doll. So, you know, her little cloth body, it could be replaced, and it may have been replaced at some point. I'm not really sure about that, because the patches are quite old, quite aged. A nice little replacement body would be the bee's knees for this little doll. So let's see her eyes now. I've cleaned them up a little bit. Come on, let's see. Come on, turn your little eyes. They're doing pretty good. I've got to get both hands, of course, and then I'll get a Q-tip. Let me spruce those up and see if I can get them moving. Okay, let's try it now. Come on. Boy, that's hard to do. There we go. They're moving. Come on. Talking to her like she's a pet. Anyway, okay, so next I'll let this this hair dry out. Let me smell it again. It's much more pleasant than it was. Once it dries out, and I'll fluff through it with a little natural bristle brush or something. Get it fluffed up, and then I'll glue down these spots on the head, and I will take some really strong thread and pull those arms back up into position. Okay? We will return with this little sweetie pie doll and revisit her when she's looking a little bit better. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask any comments. Shoot them. Thanks.